But again, this main parachute going to slow the descent of the Soyuz spacecraft down to all the way to 7.2 meters per second.
Pressure is dropping.
And the Soyuz continuing to descend under that parachute, just about 8.5 minutes away from the planned landing. And we went off real quick and confirmed with our visiting vehicle officer. Some of the plumes you saw coming out was actually the Soyuz venting some of the excess attitude control thruster gassing, believed to be hydrogen peroxide used for that control. So that's what we were seeing. Quite rare to get video this early, so kind of a treat for us to be able to see that. But continuing to descend under that main parachute, continuing to slow. Again, this to slow it most of the way down, and then when the vehicle is just about a meter above the ground, we'll fire those soft landing engines to fire to a final descent rate of about 1.5 meters per second before that final touchdown. And the comm that we're hearing still a bit ratty, but we did get confirmation from the search and recovery forces that they have confirmed good two-way communication with the crew on board, continuing their slow descent towards the Earth's surface. Just about 6.5 minutes from now, it should be on the ground. And we should be just about 5 minutes away from touchdown of the descent module of the Soyuz MS-05 spacecraft. NASA astronaut Randy Bresnik on board, along with Russian cosmonaut Sergei Ryazanskiy and Italian astronaut Paolo Nespoli.
Pressure in is 528 and the altitude is 520.
Павло, как твои уши? Хорошо, спасибо.
Paolo, what about your ears? They are fine. Thank you. Altitude is 2,000 even, and the pressure in SR is 508, 587.
Capsule continuing to descend about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. The anticipated touchdown.
Затяните ремни, если не затянули до конца. Принц 1200.
1,200 meters. Copy.
McCall, 1,200 meters in altitude still, continuing to slowly float down under that main parachute. The 3 crew members inside. Once they're down on the ground, the search and recovery forces will move in quite rapidly to begin getting them out of the capsule. Should be on the ground in about 2 minutes.
Принц, спасибо.
We copy. Thank you.
And with about 1 minute away from the anticipated landing time, should hopefully start to see some terrain come into view soon. We are expecting a bit of snow on the ground for their return, as is sometimes common in the December months over in Kazakhstan.
You ready on the chute, Sergei?
Standing by for landing.
3 раза.
and touchdown. Landing confirmed, 2:37 a.m. Central, 3:37 a.m. Eastern. Randy Bresnik, Sergei Rosansky, and Paolo Nespoli back on planet Earth after a successful stay on board the International Space Station. And so as we saw those soft landing engines firing, kicking up a bit of dust right before they touched down, firing about a meter off the ground and putting the crew members safely down on the steppe of Kazakhstan. So now we'll start to see search and recovery forces move in, begin extracting the crew and doing their initial medical checkouts before getting them loaded into helicopters off to Karaganda and then onto planes back to home base. But for now, the crew members on the ground will stand by and should hopefully be getting some video from closer up at the landing zone. So then, although you can't see it right now, the capsule just on the other side of one of these ridges in front of us, as you can see, definitely some snow on the ground with some of the grass poking out there in the Kazakh steppe. We were expecting maybe a couple of inches of powder on the ground at the landing zone. The last weather report from the area had temperatures around 10 degrees Fahrenheit, with any wind in the vicinity bringing it down to a wind chill of about -5. Just there, you can see a helicopter already moving in. We should start to see more of those as they converge on the landing zone with the capsule down on the ground. Again, that landing time right on the timeline, 2:37 a.m. Central Time, 3:37 a.m. Eastern. A convoy of vehicles will start arriving. Teams traveling to the landing zone in Russian Mi-8 helicopters as well as all-terrain vehicles. So the first helicopters arriving on site, more to follow, along with all-terrain vehicles carrying specialists trained to handle the Soyuz spacecraft, as well as medical personnel and other support individuals from the various